In this video, I'm going to be taking you through an entire session of my live day trading. I'm going to show you the indicators, complete process, and strategy that I use, as well as the specific trade entries, exits, and the real profits and losses that come along the way as I'm making trading decisions in real time so that you can basically watch and learn from my trading. I've been day trading for almost 8 years now, and I've been documenting it on YouTube for 5. So these live trade videos are a series I like to do to keep you guys up to date in what I'm doing personally with my trading, so I can always be providing value on the YouTube side and to sort of reinforce the concepts that we talk about deeper on the private side of our trading team. So that's exactly what I'm going to be doing today. In this session, I'm going to be risking $500 on each trade, and we're going to see if I can hit my profit goal of $4,000. And as soon as we have a $10,000 trade in a video, I'm going to be increasing my risk, and I'm going to be doing a giveaway a little bit later in the video. So stay tuned and let's get into setting up for our trading session. Before I get into any trades, I need to make sure that my trading station is fully set up and I have all of my tools, charts, and other things pulled up ready to go. Right here I have TradingView. This is where I'm going to be doing my active trading analysis. Right here I have my exchange. This is where I'm going to be placing my actual trades. You can use Blowfin, Bybit. Both the links are in the description, and you can just read the terms and services before you use. Okay, and then down here I'm going to have my trading journal, which is also going to give me my pre-session, trading session, and post-session agenda. Right, so I can actually open up my pre-session, and this is going to give me a checklist to follow to make sure that I'm set up for my session. So first thing that I'm doing is checking for important news events. All right, so I can basically go into TradingView, click on that folder here, and see if there's any high impact news. Today's Wednesday, so we have a rate decision meeting at 2 p.m., which is going to be a massive market mover, massive opportunity for us trading today. So if it's good news, we could see markets explode, in which case if we're in a position already, this could be a massive trade for us. So we're aware of this. This is our high impact news, but up until 2 p.m., markets should be pretty normal. That's the first thing that I'm checking. Second thing that I'm looking at is something called daily bias. I have my chart on my other monitor. I'm pulling over here. This is where I'm going to get a look at what's called a larger time frame picture. I'm trading cryptocurrency today, so what I want to look at is Bitcoin on a 1-day frequency, which basically means that each one of these candles is showing me a full day worth of price action. And then I'm just going to do simple analysis to get an idea of where we could be headed for the overall day, so that then when I go down to smaller time frames, I can actually hopefully trade in that direction. And if we take a trade in that direction, we can hold a little bit longer and hopefully maximize the amount of profit. It's giving us an idea of the broader picture, so we can apply it on the more focused day trading frequency picture. So right here, I've noticed that we have this level, this level, this level. This level was to me potentially bearish the last time I was trading it. We actually broke above that level, caught support on the overside of this. We could potentially come up and break over this key level, in which case we have a lot of possible momentum to the upside. Okay, in addition, if we go over to the Discord where our head analyst John Monzo does daily bias, you can see we closed bullish yesterday, and the candlestick daily bias is saying that we could look to take previous day high again, which would indicate we have some momentum to the upside. So it could be a bullish day today, especially with the news. So that is going to kind of be our bias. Now we have an idea generally of where we could head in the market. Okay, the next thing that I'm doing is setting up my tools. So I have all of my things set up. What I'm adding to my chart is a few things. First thing is this IT foundation indicator, which all of these tools, everything that I refer to, can be found in a tool suite that I've made for you guys absolutely for free, so you can follow along with what I'm doing on YouTube. All you have to do is go to the description, follow me on Instagram, and DM me the word tools, and this will be automatically sent over to you guys so you can add it to your chart as well. But you'll see all I've done with this foundation indicator is basically marked where the 9:30 stock market open is going to be. The next thing that I'm adding to my chart is a fair value gap indicator, which is going to give me these red boxes, which is important for the strategy that we're going to be trading for the day. Then I'm also going to be using this indicator. A good tool you can use is the NevaTrade Pro Plus tool, which we've also created, which is basically going to show you areas where price is potentially oversold, which can indicate reversal periods. So those are really the two main drivers that we're going to be looking for. And then the next thing that I'm doing is going to my watch list and making sure that I'm watching the main pair. For this trading strategy, I know I'm trading primarily Solana, Ethereum, and Atom. These charts have good flow, and I know the price action on them well. So I'm really only focusing on these, which I am watching all simultaneously on my scanner window over here. So the next thing that I'm doing is basically waiting for trade setups to come to me. I'm going to be doing my analysis on the current trend here, and then we're going to look to take trade number 1, and I'm just going to follow my trading session checklist. So the strategy that I'm going to be trading today, basically I'm looking for a few different things. Say price is moving in a down direction. What I want to identify is basically where that trend is moving overall, and then any area where we're getting a significant push out of that trend, forming a change of character, which I'll show you on a trade example, as well as going into one of those boxes under a few few conditions that we can look to take a position into and sort of ride the trend in the opposite direction. Now, my goal is to be able to show you this transparently enough so you can basically see it working for yourself and actually apply what I'm showing you, and also for you to be able to see that this is working in real time. Okay, so on this trade example here, you can see, unfortunately, we were a little bit late to enter on this trade position. We would already be up 4.7 risk factors. We didn't have all of our confluences there, and I was still getting ready for the session with you, right? But you can see how quickly and how responsive price actually is off of these thresholds. And if you pair that up with other technical analysis, this is how you can really start to make some money in the market. So we would already be up 5 risk factors. A little bit frustrating that we missed that, but I am also potentially, depending on how price looks when we come back down, looking to take an entry on the overside of this current trend. Now, if we do have a pull back down into this area, I'm going to be looking to target here, and we're going to see if we can get this basically right here. Otherwise, we'll have to find another trade setup, but it's basically about putting feelers out, watching the market. Today should be a wild, volatile day, so we're bound to catch some good trades. Let's see how we can do on this one. All right, so right off the bat here, we had price come back down into our upper trend level here. Then we didn't get any support off of this area. Price came right down into our stop loss level here. So I actually took a $634 loss here. Price kind of quickly came through our stop loss, and we ended up losing a little bit more than $500, which is normal. So I've went ahead and I've journaled this as our first trade loss. We have the date, the coin, the strategy type, it was long, the percentage risk, and then the status of the trade. So we're down 634 on the day. Last thing that I'm going to do is screenshot this, and then we're just going to move on to the next trade, try to find a good setup, see if we can find trade number 2. It's very normal to lose a fair amount of trades. I only have a 37% win rate on this strategy anyways, so to be patient, find quality setups, and if we follow our process, we should be able to have a profit at the end of this session. All right, so I do have another trade open here that is at entry on Solana. So we had our change of character here. Trend was starting to push in the down direction. We had this fair value gap. When price came up into this, I set up a position here. We're in our position. Doesn't look super great, but then again, it could flip. It's just at entry, but it looks like we could get a pop over highs here. So we're going to see if we can get this to flip, or if this is going to soak up and sort of push highs for the day. We are kind of fighting the daily bias on taking a short position here, right? Markets are starting to get a little bit volatile right now, so I wanted to get some exposure to either way, but looks a little strong to the upside now. So we'll see what happens. All right, and we just pushed through stop loss on this trade as well. Markets are a bit choppy today, so it's to be expected. So I'm going to book this loss here again, put this in our journal. All right, so we're down 1,223 on the day so far. Not really the best way to get your day started, but all I'm going to be doing is following my strategy that I know works over time, trusting the process, and we're going to try to find trade number 3 soon. I'm going to sort of step away from the charts here, sort of take a fresh look at the picture, and hopefully we do find a good trade number 3. So I stepped away from the charts a little bit, let the market sort of realign itself, set up for potentially the next move. And what I'm noticing now is we have these lows that were recently just broken through with this pretty severe candle, leaving behind a fair value gap after we got a new break of structure to the downside, and we have this new downtrend developing. Now, we're fairly overextended as far as a sell-off is concerned, but price could come up underneath this into this resistance level here and get a nice response to play a continuation down. I don't know how far the market is going to trade down for the session, so I'm going to be getting into a position here. I have an order set up, so hopefully we're able to get a fill in here and then a quick dump if the market's going to continue to sell off for the session. So now I'm just waiting. I have an underside retest, I have my entry criteria, so we are good to go to get into trade number 3. All right, price is right at entry, so we're probably going to get a big move either up or down, sort of just sitting at our entry. So we should get a big response. When it sort of sits there, it's just soaking up orders. Then it takes one big order or lack thereof order to push the market in one direction. So I'm expecting to see a pretty big move out of this in either direction. That's the thing about trading. We really don't know what direction it's going to go. That's part of what we're doing. All we want to do is put ourselves into key areas where we could get the market to move in our direction. And if it does, we're able to sort of reduce risk, and let the markets play in the direction of our trend. And then we're able to extract more money than when we're losing. When we're wrong, we're getting out, we're keeping the money contained, and we're keeping the losses nice and small. Starting to get a nice push in our direction now. We just need to break underneath this low with a close, and I can reduce my risk here to over this high, right? So once we get an initial push, we get a confirmation of that move. I do want to set my stop loss to a little bit less, and so we didn't get a close there. Let's see if we can get some sort of push underneath that low now. Okay, so we're getting a candle push down. We just need to have a close now below this level. It's a good first step. Still risk not off the table. We're down 2 trades right now, so I might want to reduce risk a little bit preemptively, but I'm hoping that we do get a confirmation here, and we did. All right, so I can bring my risk now over this high, but I'm going to bring it to break even. So I'm putting my risk at break even now. Trade's starting to move really nicely in our direction. So what I'm doing now is I have 5 risk factors already locked in. We're up almost 3,000. This doesn't mean anything because it's unrealized, obviously. It's a good sign, right? So it looks good. What I'm doing is I'm going to start trailing this trend. So I'm going to start walking my stop loss down to follow this sort of trend. I don't want price to break up and create new highs, obviously. So this is where I want to watch to see what's happening, right? So if price wants to come up to this area, I want to get out of the trade. Now I want to let this trade breathe too. So I don't want to suffocate the trade because things can happen quickly, but I do want to reduce risk a little bit into my take profit zone here. All right. And then we're just going to let this trade breathe for a bit and hopefully we can get another push down. This isn't our take profit. Our take profit is just going to be as low as we need it to go. We're going to let this sort of play out. Okay, so price is starting to move underneath this low level. I'm really hoping we can get a clean break. If we get support here and break out of this overall trend, it's going to look a little bit bullish for the chart. But what I'm doing now is I'm going to reduce my risk over this high point here. So if price wants to pop up and come to this area, we'll lock in right around 2 risk factors. I'm hoping that we continue to move down, but I'm taking the risk off the table and I'm locking in right around $1,000, which is going to keep us alive for the day. It's going to be following our trend and our process. So let's see how this goes. Big push down now. Let's see if we can break out from this overside retest. So you'll see we have this trend level touched, broke above. Now it's sitting on top of that. But if this level doesn't hold and breaks, it's going to happen quick. Up 3,000, risk reduced to over this high. We can pull it down a little bit more as we continue to move. We're going to see how this goes. Answering Instagram DMs right now while I'm waiting. If you want to talk, no, it's okay. Looks like we did get our support off of that level. The overside retest for us or against us. Looks like it's against us here. All right. So we're out for our 2 risk factors. Unfortunately, we didn't get a further push down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to journal this a little bit later. We might have a long position here. All right, so we're close to break even on the day now after that 3rd trade. But what I am going to do is look for another trade set up here off of this momentum. So journal these trades and we'll see what we can find for trade number 4. All right, so with this push up, we have a really, really tight position here potentially, but I want to catch this quick if it is to happen. So we're in long here. Let's see if we can get a push up and get a continuation on this overside. Let's see if we can pull this one off. I want to try to reduce risk over this high as soon as possible. This is such a tight stop loss. We got to get a really nice reaction off of this fair value gap. But I did see that we had support levels along this high, which is super important. So if we're able to do it, then it can be good. And stop loss is getting moved to break even. It might come down and retag it again. Doesn't matter. This was a quick flip, so we're just gonna see if we can get this to push to 1 to 4, and then we're gonna trail this. We got to hit up to this level now. We got to break through this fair value gap. We just got a little bit of a response off of it, so let's see which way we're going to go. But now we have a risk-free trade, which is nice. So if this is to come back down, I am gonna probably retest along here. So now we have a risk-free. If we missed it, this is a good position to be in. Up 1,200 right now. See if we can get this to push further. Okay, we just hit our 1 to 4 level here. We're at 2,600. So what I'm going to do now is walk my stop loss up into profit right here. So now we can't lose money on this trade, which is good. Let's see how high we can push. What is it? Time to get Trump's Twitter open? It's about that time, actually. 2 p.m. We got the interest rate decision. I'm going to be watching for that. Holy smokes. We're up almost 4,000 now. This trade is working out really nicely. So it's got to break these levels and we're going to see where price can adjust to. What I'm doing now is trying to figure out where this could trade up to. So I'm assuming that we could potentially get a retest at some point of this next resistance zone. So I want to match that up with the fair value gap, which I think this would be a really good take profit at our 147 level. So we're going to trail it. We'll see if it can get up there, but hopefully having some patience will allow us to lock in. We already have profit locked in. We're already up over a risk factor, so we can't lose any money on this now. It's just to see how high this can actually push up. Got some response off of this fair value gap. Let's see how it goes. starting to get a really nice push in this current move here. We're up almost 5K. So I'm going to trail my stop loss up a little bit higher. I just really don't want to give half of this away, but I'm trying to be patient with this trade as well. We're already up 7.5 R. I really want to test this level, would be ideal. If we get a candle close on this candle, I'm going to pull my stop loss up to this level. I'm really tempted to take this off, but I'm trying to let my trades run and follow the strategy properly. So I have conviction. Hopefully we get another big push up here. We're in sort of some resistance pockets over here. So I got my finger on the trigger and I took the trade off the table at 5K. Hopefully we get, I mean, we might get a push up here. Like risking $500 and making $5,000 is such a snipe. A 10R is such a snipe. You know, I can't really give that up. So really good trade. If this comes up to our key level, we'll look for another trade, but amazing turnaround on the day. We were just basically down 1,200. We made about 1,000 and then we made about 5,000. 6K turnaround nearly. So, but once again, just sort of being responsive. Like we saw a really knee-jerk response. We got momentum into that support level. We called it out. We got into the trade in real time. I did that right in front of you. So you're seeing that this is really possible. You just got to kind of get the reps in on this process. So now it's time to log both these trades. We'll see how this sort of push plays out. See if we made the right decision taking the trade off. But either way, I'm confident in that decision. 5,000 near. We'll see how much we actually made, but really good trade overall. Okay, so after all of these trades, I finally had the time to log all of our different positions. And even with a 50% win rate, right, we're up over $4,500 already, right? We were able to lock in just under 5K on that previous trade. And now we're looking to potentially set up another trade. Looks like we got a nice response off of this key level. So this trade may not come to fruition, but beautiful move up. Now we're just looking for some potential other opportunities. Now, what we do have to consider is that we have the interest rate decision meeting coming up in 27 minutes. This is going to be a crazy driver of the markets. To me, I think there's a strong possibility this could be bearish for the markets, right? There's no real reason, in my opinion, for rates to drop. And if rates don't drop, that could possibly drive markets a little bit more bearish, because I'm sure there's a fair amount of investors who think that the interest rates will be dropped. And if they are dropped, wow, it's going to go to the upside. So this is just going to pour fuel on the fire. I'm not going to try to predict what's going to happen. If I can get into a good setup before then, we're just going to set our stops to break even. And you never know, maybe we could get a massive trade out of it. For now, I'm just going to see how this sort of plays out. I think I'm going to take this trade off the table because on a larger time frame, we had price tap into the midpoint of this 30-minute fair value gap here. So I just don't have any interest in trying to short into that now that we got a really nice response off of this too. So let's see if we can find another trade. Price has made a push up into this resistance area here. We got a little bit of volatility, but I want to see if I can tag into this fair value gap up in this region, which is our resistance point for our day. Okay, so it looks like our entry off of this level has left the station without us. So what I'm going to look for now is see if we can set up another sort of entry potentially. So we would have reduced risk to break even now, so I can't really take this trade anymore. So I've taken it off the table and we're going to see if we can play into another position. Press conference in 20 minutes, which should bring some more volatility. So let's see what we can do. We just got a trend break on Sol here. I took a really tight position here off of this fair value gap into support on the break of this trend. I'm hoping to get an immediate big push right away, getting a change of character right here, and want to reduce risk as soon as possible. We're getting a really nice push off of this level here. So hopefully we can have a continuation now, reducing risk to break even. Wow, these quick in trades, I'm telling you, have been crazy today. Reducing risk to break even. All right, so let's see if we can get this to push now. I have some price action channels drawn off of these areas, which I could expect price to kind of push up into the upper range of. We have interest rates, Fed conference coming in 5 minutes. If we can stay in this trade in the meantime and something good happens, this could be a really big trade, or we could get stopped out instantly. We're going to see if we can hold on to it for that long, for 5 minutes. This is by no means a safe position, but could have a ton of upside if we get something bullish in the meeting. We're still able to be in it. So we got 3 minutes left. Let's see if we can stay in this. All right, we have the meeting in less than a minute now. So this could just come and poof, or it could go in the up direction. So hopefully this can stay away from my entry long enough to see if we can play into this momentum. 30 seconds left. Risk-free trade. So, I mean, it's technically a little bit like a lot of people say they don't trade interest rate decisions, but if you're reducing risk and you're being smart about it, it's not that bad of an idea, because then you can play into big momentum swings if we get it. So we're going to find out in about 5 seconds from now what that answer is. All right, Jerome, what is it going to be? What's it going to be, brother? All right, price is starting to push nicely in our direction. We got a nice response off of that fair value gap after our change of character. We're up about 5 risk factors. I mean, like I said, Jerome Powell speaking, so anything can happen, but I want to see if we can get a big push up on this. We're up 3,000, setting our stop loss in the money now. So we've locked in a risk factor guaranteed. Having trouble breaking through this level, which makes sense. This is a heavy resistance pocket. All right, it's having issues with that area. area. So I'm going to go ahead and take profit off the table here. $3,200 right at the previous day's high level. We might get a flip. We might have price action continue going. Just sign a weakness off of this key level. So I wanted to go ahead and take some profits off the table. It might have been a little early, but we still locked in 6.6 risk factors, which I think is going to put us at our biggest day with the smog strategy yet. And it's only 2:30 in the afternoon. So let's see. All right. So on that trade, we locked in $3,078, which puts us up $7,600 on the day, which I believe may be a record for us. And this is giving us a 60% win rate on the day. So I'm sure this could continue moving up higher. 6.6 R on the day at 2:30. Very appealing position to be in. So we're going to let the market settle. I'm going to get some other work done for the time being. Let this meeting sort of shake out. I'll be watching for different opportunities. We're almost there to our daily target where we're going to be doing the giveaway. So let's see if we can do it. So it was one of those rare occasions where taking profit off a little early actually paid off big. I took the trade off into this fair value gap area right here, as well as into the previous day high. Was having trouble breaking through that. And you can see price came all the way back down immediately after that part and would have stopped us out for one risk factor. So we were able to lock in 3,000 opposed to just 500, putting us up the $7,600 on the day. So what I'm going to do now is take a break, eat some lunch. I'm going to probably play some PGA with Cosmo, and then we're going to get into some deep work, look for some trades a little bit later, change the smoke detector that's been bothering me all morning. Then I'm going to enjoy this beautiful day. I'll probably hit a workout a little bit later, but yeah, hitting our goal. Life is good. Also, look at that, made the right call. All right, so I wanted to let the market sort of pick a direction and see where they're going to head for the session. We are forming this sort of triangular pattern here on Solana. So price sort of coming down and sort of wedging in between here. So this is either going to break to the upside here, or we're going to get some level of resistance and price could drop. So I wanted to make sure that I was taking an entry here in the midpoint of this fair value gap. We got a decisive change of character level midpoint. I'm sort of already in before we get a push down. So if it comes up, stops me out here, that's fine. Otherwise, if we do get this push down, we're ahead of the curve. We're gonna let the market drop, and then we're going to just trend follow it on the way down. But looks like it could move up through stop loss here. All right, stopped out of that trade for a contained loss. That's okay. I'm not going to chase this session, right? We want to hit our goal, but we got to take good trades. This is breaking to the upside, so I'm going to journal this here, see if we can get a significant push over this high, and then this is potentially a long entry as well. So see if we actually get there and we want to get filled. But for now, contained loss, not too bad. I'm just going to walk away, and we're going to keep following our process. Let's look for another trade setup, let the market develop, see where this move is going to go. Not going to take that many more, guys, just trying to hit our goal, but let's see if we can find more. I'm getting dinner. I'm not gonna go to the gym right now. I'm gonna go to the gym later. Didn't find any more trades right now, so I'm just gonna go eat with Noam. Alright, so I wanted to step away from the markets a little bit and eat some dinner, get back into work, and then be able to look for some trades. Right here, we have Solana sort of making a big evening push here, and this is partially because, actually mostly because of Donald Trump tweeting on Truth Social, or truthing on Truth Social, about a trade deal about 1 hour ago. So we saw markets started to make a significant move up. But now we're sort of retracing, consolidating back down to this zone. But what I'm noticing now is that we do have this overall trend level still being held, potentially off of support level in here. And so if I can have price sort of breaking out of these levels, coming back down to retest this long before taking a continuation for this sort of uptrend, I'm all game for it. So I have an order placed here to see if we can get price to come down and fill into this and continue making this uptrend. So see if we can get a pull down and take trade number 7, lucky number 7. All right. Yeah, we missed that one again. Right idea, just sort of missing things. I don't know, it's 10. I'm going to be working for another hour or so. All right, so it's morning time. I'm going to go through the trades from the session and we're going to take a look at what happened. And we'll take a deep look at the progression of the day and sort of how I was able to analyze it, what mistakes, good things I did, and what I'm going to take into next session to hopefully improve this process. So coming out of the morning session, I was waiting for this trend level to be broken so that I could look to take some longs. We finally got that key level to break. This to me looked like a potential long area to get into. So when price reverted back down, I took a long position here and price ended up just dumping all the way through it, realizing a $634 loss. One of the bigger losses. This happened quickly through my stop loss, so I lost a lot to slippage. Once we got a break underneath this level here, I wanted to see if I could play trade up into this resistance level. So I set up a short position to take into here. Price came up. We got our initial response just for a second off of that trend level. Then price stopped us out of this level. I was waiting to take some trades into these levels, but there was really no good sell signals into here. So then I waited for this overall level to be broken. I set up a position right in this underside retest area. We got a perfect fill and then price continued to dump. And then I was just trend following from here. Price came up, stopped me out for a small win of $981. All right, as soon as this happened, I flipped my bias. I was waiting for this trend to be broken, waited for my change of character, had a nice fair value gap left behind here. All right, and was able to snipe a perfect entry along here. Price was pushing up and into this area. I took profit off for 8 total risk factors, giving me a total profit of $4,786 on this trade. All right, then I was waiting for this overall uptrend to break. So as soon as we had that break level tested back into this fair value gap, I got in quickly right here as this trend was breaking, and I took my trade off into this fair value gap outside of 1 to 4 for 6.65R, totaling me in $3,078 in profit. Then watching Solana sort of form this triangular pattern here, I saw this change of character in fair value gap, wanted to take a stab at getting in. So I got into my position, was hoping that it would fail to the downside, and then price ended up breaking out from here. And this was a $623 loss. All right, and right here, this is where I was trying to get into a long position off of this over retest, but price never fully pulled back down. And this is unfortunate because this would have given us a massive move to the upside for the rest of the session, where we really didn't break under any critical lows before having like a 15 risk reward trade. So unfortunately didn't hit that $10,000 goal, but we did hold positions really well, take profit in good areas. We had 2 massive winners. We ended the day off with a 50% win rate, so losing half of our trades for a total of $1 short of 7,000. But in general, I'm excited to increase the amount of risk per trade, be a little bit more selective and take less trades on the day while hitting my goal. And I'm still excited for that 15, 20, 30 risk reward runner that I know will eventually hit. Make sure you hit the like button if you like these videos. Subscribe if you want to know when I drop new ones. If you want to watch other ones, they're right here. And if you want to learn about trading, I'll put another resource right here. And I'll see you all in the next video.